Good morning everyone. Today we discuss urine formation. So first we discuss filtration membrane. Before we discuss urine formation, we discuss filtration membrane, filtration slit or slit pore, fenestrations, juxtaglomerular apparatus. You already know on the lumino-Bowman capsule, bunch of blood capillaries present. Bunch of blood capillaries present on the lumina of Bowman capsule known as glomerulus. So glomerulus means numerous blood capillary. Each blood capillary contain lumen cavity, wall on the wall of basement, on the wall of blood capillary, flattened epithelial cells are present, squamous epithelium. While discussing simple epithelium, we discuss what is endothelium. The blood vessels are lined by a simple squamous epithelium known as endothelium. So flattened epithelial cells of blood capillary, that is one layer. Endothelium of blood vessel, or you may say flattened epithelial cells, one layer. The flattened epithelial cells rest on the basement membrane. Similarly, Bowman capsule contain outer layer, inner layer. Both contain squamous epithelium. The squamous epithelium or flattened epithelium of Bowman capsule has one layer. The flattened epithelium of Bowman capsule also known as podocytes. So podocytes of Bowman capsule one layer. Flattened epithelium cells of endothelium or flattened epithelial cells of blood capillary or endothelium of blood vessel one layer. The flattened epithelium cells of blood vessel rest on the basement membrane. Podocytes rest on the basement membrane. So these three layers are flattened epithelium of blood capillary one layer, flattened epithelium of Bowman capsule one layer, basement membrane of blood capillary, basement membrane of Bowman capsule has one layer. So total these three layers. The content present in the blood capillary filtered into the lumina Bowman capsule through three layers. One is endothelium or flattened epitheliums of blood capillary, basement membrane of blood capillary, basement membrane of Bowman capsule together known as one layer, and podocytes of Bowman capsule another layer. So the substances present in the lumina of blood capillary enter into the lumina of Bowman capsule through three layers. These three layers collectively known as filtration membrane. One layer is flattened epithelium of blood capillary. Another layer flattened epithelium of Bowman capsule. Basement membrane of blood capillary, basement membrane of Bowman capsule. These two together known as one layer. One layer, basement membrane of both as one layer. Podocytes are flattened epithelium cells of Bowman capsule, another layer. So these three layers act as a filtration membrane. The blood is filtered these three layers. As a result, nitrogenous waste material, some nutrients enter into the lumina Bowman capsule. It is known as ultrafiltration or pressure filtration, or filtration occur in the glomerulus known as glomerular filtration. You already know Bowman capsule contain two layers. Outer layer contain flattened cells, inner layer also flattened cells. Inner flattened cells of Bowman capsule known as podocytes. Podocytes coiled around the glomerulus. Between the podocytes empty places are present. These empty places are known as filtration slit or slit pore. Minute openings present in the blood capillary known as fenestration. Due to blood pressure, through fenestrations, micromolecular substances enter into filtration slit. From the filtration cyst, enter into the lumina Bowman capsule. What are filtration slit or slit pore? Empty places present in the podocyte. It is one podocyte. It is another podocyte. The podocytes coiled around the glomerulus. The empty places present between the podocytes known as filtration slit or slit pore. Openings present in the Glomerulus. What is glomerulus? Bunch of blood capillaries. In the blood capillaries, minute openings are present. These openings are known as fenestrations. Through fenestrations, nitrogenous waste material and some nutrients enter into filtration slit. From filtration cyst, they enter into lumina of Bowman capsule. During ultrafiltration, ultrafiltration is the first step in the urine formation. During pressure filtration, micromolecular substances present in the blood capillaries via fenestrations enter into filtration slit. From the filtration cyst, these substances enter into lumina of Bowman capsule. Now we discuss juxtaglomerular apparatus. Juxtaglomerular apparatus. Juxtaglomerular cells, modified smooth muscles present in the afferent arteriole. Modified smooth muscle cells present in the afferent arteriole known as juxtaglomerular cells. Modified epithelial cells of DCT known as macula densa. Modified epithelial cells of DCT known as macula densa. Modified smooth muscle cells present in the wall of afferent arteriole, juxtaglomerular cells. Juxtaglomerular cells and macula densa are connected, or macula densa connected to juxtaglomerular cells. Macula densa and juxtaglomerular cells together known as juxtaglomerular apparatus. Juxtaglomerular apparatus. Juxtaglomerular apparatus. So whenever blood pressure decreases in the afferent arteriole, the juxtaglomerular apparatus is activated, and now the juxtaglomerular cells release renin enzyme, and this enzyme help in increase of blood volume. Increase of blood volume in the body. We discuss while discussing regulation. You should know what is juxtaglomerular apparatus. Modified epithelial cells of DCT known as macula densa. Modified smooth muscle cells of afferent arteriole, juxtaglomerular cells. Macula densa connected to juxtaglomerular cells. As a result, juxtaglomerular apparatus is formed. So when the blood pressure increases or blood volume decreases in the afferent arteriole, at the time the juxtaglomerular cells release renin enzyme and it help in increase of blood volume. Now we discuss formation of urine. Urine formation. Urine formation is completed in 3 steps. Glomerular filtration, second reabsorption or selective reabsorption, third is secretion or tubular secretion. Secretion or tubular secretion. So the process of formation of urine is completed in 3 steps. Glomerular filtration, reabsorption or selective reabsorption. Third one is secretion or tubular secretion. The process of urine formation is completed in 3 steps: glomerular filtration, reabsorption and secretion. Afferent arteriole is bigger than afferent arteriole. More amount of blood enter into glomerulus when compared to blood leave from the glomerulus. It creates hydrostatic pressure. Hydrostatic pressure glomerulus 60 mmHg. Hydrostatic pressure of glomerulus means pressure created by water present in the glomerulus is hydrostatic pressure. This pressure is opposed by 2 pressure. One is osmotic pressure of glomerulus. Osmotic pressure of glomerulus is 32 mmHg, and another one is hydrostatic pressure of Bowman capsule. Hydrostatic pressure of Bowman capsule it is 18 mmHg. So hydrostatic pressure of glomerulus is 60 mmHg. Pressure created by water present in the blood capillary is 60. It is opposed by 2 pressure. what is osmotic pressure of glomerulus? Osmotic pressure means concentration. Concentration prevent the filtration. Osmotic pressure of glomerulus is 32. Hydrostatic pressure of Bowman capsule is 18. Pressure created by water present in the Bowman capsule. 60 opposed by 50. So that means hydrostatic pressure of glomerulus is 10 mm Hg more when compared to the opposing pressures. As a result, due to 10 mm Hg pressure, micromolecular substances escape from the glomerulus. They end through fenestrations and filtration slit enter into the lumina of Bowman capsule. So this pressure filtration is known as glomerular filtration. First step is glomerular filtration. Afferent arteriole bigger than afferent arteriole. So more amount of blood enter into glomerulus when compared to blood leave from the glomerulus. It creates hydrostatic pressure. Pressure created by water present in the glomerulus is 60 mm Hg. This pressure is opposed by two pressure. One is concentration of blood in the glomerulus, that is 32. And another is hydrostatic pressure of Bowman capsule. Pressure created by water present in the Bowman capsule. So osmotic pressure of glomerulus 32, hydrostatic pressure of Bowman capsule 18, 32 plus 18 50, 60 minus 50, 10 mm Hg pressure. So the glomerular hydrostatic pressure is only 10 mm Hg pressure more. That's why not all substances filtered from the glomerulus. Micromolecular substances, nutrients, proteins, plasma proteins never escape. So enter into lumina of Bowman capsule. Per minute 1100 to 1200 ml of blood enters and leave the glomerulus. Not one nephron. You already know in each kidney 1 million. So 1100 to 1200 ml of blood enter and leave the 20 lakh glomeruli. During this process, 125 ml of substances filtrated into Bowman capsule of all nephron. So the filtrate present in the lumina of Bowman capsule of all nephrons equal to 125 ml per minute. Per minute 125, per hour into 60, per day into 24. That is 180 liters. 180 liters fluid filtered into the lumina of Bowman capsule. It is known as primary urine or renal fluid. Primary urine or renal fluid. So it is known as glomerular filtration. So every minute 1100 to 1200 ml of blood filtered through glomerulus. So it is equal to 1/5 of cardiac from the renal artery. So the 1100 to 1200 ml of blood supply to all glomeruli present in the two kidneys, means 2 lakh glomeruli, 20 lakh sorry. Each one 1 million, 10 lakhs, 20 lakh glomeruli. So each minute 1100 to 1200 ml of blood filtered through 20 lakh glomeruli. During this process, some substances enter into the lumen, that is glomerular filtration rate. So 125 ml of substances enter into the lumina of Bowman capsule of 20 lakh nephrons. So not in the Bowman capsule, lumina of Bowman capsule of 1 nephron. The substances enter into the lumen of 20 lakhs is equal to 125 ml. So 125 ml is glomerular filtration rate per minute. So into 60 means per hour filtration. Into 24 means per day filtration. Per day 180 liters of primary urine present in the cavity of Bowman capsule. While the primary urine is passing through different parts of the nephron. Different parts of the nephron. 178.5 to 179 liters urinate 1 to 1.5 liters urine every day. During urination, the human beings may urinate 1 to 1.5 liters urine per day. Now we discuss reabsorption. While 180 liters of primary urine is passing through different parts of the nephron, more than 99% is reabsorbed. It is known as reabsorption or selective reabsorption. Now we discuss reabsorption. While primary urine is passing through PCT, reabsorption in PCT reabsorption in PCT 70 to 80% of water by passive osmosis movement from low concentration to high concentration. Sodium 70 to 80% of sodium present in the primary urine transport actively. Active transport means after spending energy only sodium enter into peritubular network. 70 to 80% of water enter into peritubular network. All these substances escape from the blood. Immediately they enter into the blood only. That's why in PCT 70 to 8, while primary urine is passing through PCT, 70 to 80% of water reabsorbed passively, 70 to 80% of sodium reabsorbed actively after utilization, 70 to 80% of chlorine reabsorbed passively. All the nutrients, amino acids, glucose, fats present in the primary urine reabsorbed in the PCT only. As a result, previously dilute urine, now isotonic urine, hypotonic urine. Urine filtered into the Bowman capsule is hypotonic urine, means low concentration when compared to our blood concentration. After reabsorption, hypotonic become isotonic urine in the PCT. Isotonic means concentration of urine and our blood is same. Once again, reabsorption in PCT, 70 to 80% of sodium reabsorbed into peritubular network actively, 70 to 80% of chloride reabsorbed passively, 70 to 80% of water reabsorbed by osmosis passively. All nutrients present in the primary urine, amino acids, glucose, fats reabsorbed in the peritubular network of PCT. As a result, hypotonic urine become isotonic in the PCT, proximal convoluted tubule. What is isotonic? Concentration of urine is the same like that of blood, known as isotonic urine. While isotonic urine is passing through descending loop of Henle, water is reabsorbed. Percentage of water reabsorption in the PCT and descending limb of loop of Henle together 85%. For example, 70% water reabsorbed while primary urine is passing through PCT. At the time 15% water reabsorbed while passing through descending limb of loop of Henle. So due to loss of water, what happens? Concentration increases. Hypertonic urine is formed in the descending limb of loop of Henle. So the descending limb of loop of Henle is almost impermeable to electrolytes. No movement of electrolytes, sodium chloride, bicarbonate, neither into the lumen nor from lumen to exterior. While primary urine is passing through descending limb, sodium chloride, bicarbonate, different types of electrolytes reabsorbed into medullary fluid. The tissue present around the nephrons known as medullary fluid. You all know the tissue present around the loop of Henle medullary. The tissue present around the Bowman capsule PCT DCT is known as cortical fluid. Cortex medulla in case of justa medullary nephron. So sodium chloride bicarbonates, the electrolytes reabsorbed passively from the proximal part of ascending limb of loop of Henle. It is the proximal nearer part. From the distal part of ascending limb of loop of Henle, electrolytes reabsorbed actively after utilization of energy only. Ascending limb of loop of Henle is impermeable to water. Water neither reabsorbed nor secreted into the lumina of ascending limb. So due to loss of electrolytes, concentration of urine decreases. So hypotonic urine is formed in the ascending limb of loop of Henle. Reabsorption occur in the PCT and distal and descending limb of loop of Henle is mandatory, compulsory. No need of enzymes or hormones. In the DCT, in presence of hormone, in presence of antidiuretic hormone or aldosterone hormone, only water and electrolytes reabsorbed into peritubular network. Peritubular network. In presence of hormone only reabsorption take place. That's why it is known as facultative reabsorption. Hypotonic urine become isotonic in distal convoluted tubule. While primary urine is passing through straight collecting duct, in presence of hormone, antidiuretic hormone or another hormone aldosterone, at the time water is reabsorbed. Water is reabsorbed from the straight collecting duct into medullary fluid. Small quantity of urea also reabsorbed. Due to loss of more water, hypertonic urine is formed at the posterior part of straight collecting duct. Reabsorption in the DCT and straight collecting duct occur in presence of hormone. That's why it is known as facultative reabsorption. For example, in one person, neither antidiuretic hormone nor aldosterone. At the time, what happened? In the ascending limb of loop of Henle, only hypotonic urine is present. The same hypotonic urine goes out. In presence of hormone, hypertonic urine. The concentration of urine is more when compared to body fluid. It is not mean that every time we excrete only hypotonic or only hypertonic. In presence of hormone, we excrete hypertonic urine. In the absence of hormone, we excrete hypotonic urine. So second step is reabsorption or selective reabsorption. Reabsorption or selective reabsorption. While primary urine, you all know 180 liters of primary urine is passing through 20 lakhs nephrons. The primary urine present in 20 lakh nephrons is 180 liters. He is passing through nephron, 99% reabsorbed. While primary urine is passing through PCT, 70 to 80% water is reabsorbed passively, 70 to 80% of sodium actively, 70 to 80% of chlorine passively. All the nutrients present in the primary urine reabsorbed actively in the PCT. In this manner, hypotonic urine become isotonic. Mean concentration of urine is same like that of blood. While isotonic urine is passing through descending limb of loop of Henle. Descending limb of loop of Henle is impermeable to electrolytes. No movement of ions. Only it is permeable to water. So due to reabsorption of water, means water content in the primary urine present in the descending limb decreases. So automatically concentration increases. Hypertonic urine is formed. The percentage of reabsorption in the descending limb of loop of Henle depends upon the percentage of reabsorption in the PCT. In the PCT, 70 to 80% of water is reabsorbed. In one person, only 70% of water reabsorbed in the PCT, 15% water reabsorbed in the descending limb of loop of Henle. The reabsorption of water through PCT and descending limb of loop of Henle is 85%. The reabsorption in PCT and descending limb is mandatory, compulsory, no hormone, no enzyme required. So this reabsorption is common in all human beings. As a result, hypertonic urine is formed. Descending limb of loop of Henle is impermeable to electrolytes, while primary urine is passing through ascending limb. Sodium chloride, bicarbonates, different types of electrolytes absorbed into medullary fluid pass actively, while primary urine is passing through distal part of ascending limb. Sodium chloride, bicarbonate absorbed passively, actively. So in the proximal part reabsorbed passively. Why? So here less concentration, from high concentration to low concentration, while primary urine is passing through distal part of ascending limb. Same electrolytes are reabsorbed actively after utilization of energy. So in the ascending limb of loop of Henle, it is impermeable to water, no change in the water content, but electrolytes so reabsorbed. That's why concentration of urine decreases, hypotonic urine is formed. So in the DCT and straight collecting duct, in presence of hormone only reabsorption, we assume no hormone, same hypotonic urine goes out. So in the same person also it change from time to time, season to season. So in presence of antidiuretic hormone or aldosterone, while primary urine is passing through distal convoluted tubule, water electrolytes reabsorbed. So hypotonic become isotonic urine. While isotonic urine is passing through straight collecting duct, in presence of hormone, so water reabsorbed. So small quantity of urea reabsorbed. So due to loss of more water, hypertonic urine is formed in the posterior part of straight collecting duct. So this is about reabsorption or selective reabsorption. Third one is secretion. You already know, due to 10 mm Hg pressure only, some micromolecular substances escape from the glomerulus, enter into lumina of Bowman capsule. This 10 mm Hg pressure is not sufficient. That's why most of the substances fail to escape from the glomerulus. While blood is passing through peritubular network around PCT, DCT and loop of Henle, some substances escape into cortical fluid and medullary fluid. These substances later released into the lumen of the nephron. It is known as secretion or tubular secretion. Hydrogen cation, bicarbonate, potassium cation, ammonia secreted into the lumen of PCT. From the lumen of PCT, bicarbonate is reabsorbed. Hydrogen, potassium, ammonia secreted into the lumen of DCT. Hydrogen and potassium secreted into the lumen of straight collecting duct is known as tubular secretion. Tubular secretion maintain the ionic and water balance or fluid balance, or ionic balance of the water fluids. Ionic balance of the water fluids. So fluids present, body fluids. Body fluids are blood and lymph. So what is the use of secretion or tubular secretion? Maintain the ionic balance of body fluids. Ionic balance of body fluids. In this manner, urine formation completed in 3 steps. Secretion or tubular secretion. Due to 10 mm Hg pressure, only some substances escape. Most of the substances present in the glomerulus, while the blood is passing through peritubular network around the PCT, DCT, around the loop of the Henle. Some substances escape from the peritubular network into cortex and medulla, and these substances enter into the lumina of nephron, is known as secretion or tubular secretion. Hydrogen, potassium, bicarbonate, ammonia secreted into the lumina of PCT. Hydrogen and potassium secreted into the lumina of DCT. Hydrogen, potassium secreted into the lumina of straight loop. Straight collecting duct is known as secretion or tubular secretion. The tubular secretion maintain the ionic balance of the water, ionic balance of the body fluids. So this is about urine formation. So tomorrow we discuss formation of concentrated urine, regulation of kidney function and disorders of excretory system.